All right, Arash. I had information overload yesterday, and it wasn't the fact that calculus makes my head hurt and different things. That it was just the amount of text messages I read, and then I continued to read things all night for some reason. It was, I think, a monumental day for the CFL.
No question.
Maybe for Canadian sport. We're okay saying that?
I definitely think it's a seismic day for Canadian football. Like, I don't want to get, a transformative day. This is a massive change that's going to be ahead in 26 and 27. And I think at its core, Barney, you have to understand the why. And the why is that outside of a couple of markets, professional football in this country is nowhere near generating the metrics being attendance, ratings, attention, conversation starter as it had a generation and definitely 2 generations ago. Something had to give, something had to change, something had to happen. The thing is, yesterday, Barney, a lot happened all at once, and I think that's what kind of caught some people off guard.
We kind of talk about the why. To the fans that, and you've been here, you worked in Winnipeg.
Yep.
You were just here a couple of weeks ago. You know the passion we have. You've covered games here. To the fans that are, being so emotional right now, reactionary. I'm giving up my tickets. I'm done with the CFL. And some people are like, what, you just don't like change? What do you say to those people, Arash? What's your thinking there?
And look, I understand that you're rattled. I understand that you're fearful that the Canadian Football League that you knew is going to be no longer. Except, what I would remind you is that there are still 12 players on the field. There are still 3 downs. It's still 65 yards wide. There will still be a rouge. They're just eliminating the stupid parts of the rouge. You actually have a consistent play clock now, not just a referee arbitrarily whistling it in, and on and on and on. And Barney, I don't know how many times a week from staunch CFL fans, I'll get a text or a message that says, "Did you see that Houston-Jacksonville game? That was a dud." This isn't that one league is better than the other, one league is more entertaining than the other. There are duds all over the place in pro sports. But when you have 3 or 4 games a week, not 15 or 16, and they're all either in prime time or in an afternoon slot where they're on national TV, CTV, etc., when a winning team has one successful completion at the midway point of the 4th quarter, like Winnipeg had against Ottawa the other night, something's got to give and something's got to change. It's not that one's better than the other. It has nothing to do with that. This is a league that from an on-field, for a long time, the product kept the CFL alive. And the issue has been, is that the product isn't generating the pop that it once did. And so there needed to be changes. And I honestly applaud the Canadian Football League for just not doing the same thing over and over again, because that's what they've always done.
I ran my own little focus group from 7 p.m. last night until 8:30 this morning.
Okay.
My daughter loves football, loves going to Rider games, loves playing flag football. My son loves playing flag football. Does he watch it? Little bit. I drove 8 children to different events in the last, 14, 15 hours to that time.
By the way, is this a humble brag? Are you applying for Father of the Year here? Is that what's going on?
Trust me, I'm not. Mrs. S is doing way more heavy lifting. But yes, I'm trying to think, because it's been such big news, it's out on social media. Are they going to ask me anything? Are they going to say anything about it? Dad, what's with the CFL rules? Dad, what's with this? Not one word. And I was like, okay. the excitement of the game is there. I think you have the one-offs like in any sport, any league that you're talking about. What happened, with Winnipeg. They're trying to do this at its core, and some people are going to say they want to turn into the U.S. They want to do that. At its core, it's hard not to believe they sat down, a group of people, and said, how do we make this better? With that said, Arash, which of the new rules that are coming in, allegedly still on the table, makes sense to you?
A bunch. Let's start with debate. Like there's nobody can debate this one. I think we're all unanimous.
I don't know.
Opposite sidelines is probably a good idea. If one team's on the other 20-yard line, they shouldn't need to have a 300-pound lineman run 70 yards across the field to substitute in to get into a huddle.
I guarantee we're going to get a text message from somebody say, no, damn it, let them run. Got to be in better shape. There's always somebody. You know what it's like.
There's somebody.
That one does, make sense.
That one.
To everybody.
Think of the chaos that goes. So that's one. The other. Think of the chaos that goes on the field all the time, every snap, between snaps. Plays going on, pass rushers coming after quarterbacks, substitutions coming and going, the loudspeakers going, the music, you can be distracted. A referee arbitrarily, once the ball is snapped, wherever the ball may be, whenever they get it down, is going to blow that clock in at 20 seconds then. Instead of, look, the play ends, you have 35 seconds. Boom. To me, it's a uniform, not every play in between is 35 seconds. Keep that consistent. I like that a lot. The one I'm actually on board with too is moving the goalposts back. And here's why. Think about 65 yards. You effectively have 25 yards to the left of the upright, 25 yards to the right of the upright. And in between, you have 15 yards of width and now 15 yards of depth. That was blocked by a goalpost, by uprights. You are taking away the entire middle of the field where you can have highlight reel plays happen. Barney, let's remember, and this is what people are going to get upset about. This is not a sports league. This is an entertainment enterprise. And the CFL is not alone. I was having this conversation with somebody last night. I'm like, you're telling me you don't think the NBA is not a professional basketball league, right? LeBron's playing for the Lakers, okay? If Charlotte's here on Wednesday and the Lakers are here on Friday, what's a gold seat in the lower bowl going for the Charlotte game, and what's it going for when LeBron comes here? You think the NBA referees are going to foul LeBron out on a reach-in foul? What the CFL needs to do is use the entire end zone to create reels, to create viral moments, have their star players, the quarterbacks and the receivers, have the space, have more real estate to make something happen. And that's why I think moving the goalpost back is a solid move.
I'll say I agree for the most part. It is now the amateur football, the facilities, and I'm just thinking of Saskatchewan for the most part, played a little bit in Manitoba and Alberta, but Saskatchewan. And now the university teams, the junior football teams, which it all trickles down.
Okay, let me stop you. I know where you're going with this, but I think that's false altogether. I truly believe that high school teams, junior teams, youth sports teams don't change anything. They continue to operate the way they always have done. The NBA has a three-point line of its own that college doesn't use. College uses a 24-second shot clock. College uses a 40-minute game, not a 48-minute game. Now, what do I mean? You're saying, well, what about the field, right? Well, in the Atlantic Conference, in U Sports, not one school's affected. In the Quebec Conference, just one's affected. In Ontario, nobody's affected. In Canada West, there could be 3. But of the 3, Calgary and Winnipeg, they have pro soccer teams playing in there. They already take the goalposts out for the pro soccer games. Outside of Regina, and Craig Reynolds talked about this yesterday, in Regina they have the yard line stitched on the field. They need a new field anyway. It's going to be 10 years old.
Yeah.
You have lines that can be painted and removed. It has to be incumbent on the CFL team in Winnipeg, Calgary, Montreal. You are tenants of the university to return the field the way it was presented to you. So this is going to cost the teams a little bit of money. But if I'm U Sports, if I'm the CJFL, if I'm any of these entities, I keep it status quo. And just the 3 or 4 stadiums that are using these facilities, the pro teams, they're the ones who are going to have to adapt and then change back 9 times a year.
Oof. Oh, I want to see the time-lapse video of that.
Well, look,
going on.
Barney, they just had Morgan Wallen in Edmonton. What happened to put 50,000 people, take over the field, get a stage up there, all the theatrics, etc.? How often do these happen for other entities coming in?
So let's walk through this. Let's say Mosaic Stadium, which I agree they need new turf. The 10-year lifespan, they're getting close to that anyways. The moving of the goalposts, I'm trying to remember when I played like men's flag on there. I think they have the ability to do that because they had soccer there as well.
Yeah,
could be totally wrong. It's just a hole that you patch over. Is it long term? No, you don't want it long term. Okay, so then the CFL goes to their field for a game. You're saying that it's on the CFL to put the field back for the high school users that start the next week and maybe the junior team and the round, like paint. I don't even know the field term. The stitching
we live in a world. We're at an arena. Granted, indoor arena and outdoor stadium are different. You're having a playoff basketball game at 1:00, a Stanley Cup playoff game at 7:00, and a concert the next night. 3 different things in 36 hours involving ice and hard courts and indoor pyrotechnics. We're talking about removable paint. That's what, none of these end zones are filled in with logos. It's not like you're going to have a soccer goalie, 10 yards into a goal line being in, blue paint in Winnipeg. And already with the NSL team in Calgary and the CPL team in Winnipeg, they're doing this with soccer. It's happening already.
See, I'm curious on that. And so you're thinking the expense is all up to the CFL teams?
Sure. It's 9 games a year. It's 9 games a year. So I don't know what the costs are, but I'm telling you it's not significant. It's not significant to repaint some lines, et cetera, et cetera.
Maybe that's what they do. Maybe they say, all right, everyone keep things status quo. The league will invest.
Why wouldn't you?
Changing. Yeah.
Why wouldn't you? I don't know. I can't remember how many U Sports teams there are now in the country. Again, we're talking only 4 that are going to be affected. There are literally, there's a scenario in Montreal. The Alouettes are tenants of McGill University, right? They only come in 9 times a year as is right now. So they come in, they get the stadium the afternoon before the game, and 6 hours after the game, they're gone and completely, transform it. They put the Jumbotron in, they put the tunnel in, they put all the pyrotechnics in, all the sponsorship signage in. This is just adding a bunch of lines painted on the field. That's all.
It's an interesting
and moving the goalposts. I'm going
to sleep on that. That's okay. An interesting one. What do you know about the possibility? I saw it online. And you're from Nova Scotia. that there's a stadium there that's only 100 yards long that people are saying can get some stands up and possibly a team. And this is one of the conspiracy theorists on why it happened, tinfoil head style?
Zero. Okay. Zero. There's no owner. There's no state. I've been to the Wanderers grounds. It's portables all over the place, et cetera, et cetera. There's no owner ready. Here's my concern, Barney, in all this. Moving the goalposts. We still have stubborn dinosaur coaches who think that going for it on 3rd and 2 is an air quotes gamble. Like, I'm watching the football game last night. Dan Campbell's got a 7-point lead, 4th and 2. Comes out of a timeout. What does he do? There was a post corner to Amon-Ra St. Brown for like a 30-yard gain. Like, that's modern football. My concern with moving the goalposts back is we're going to see a hell of a lot more punts. Because, I don't know, somewhere along the way, this idea that this was a gamble came to mind. Every single data point and analytic tells you go for it unless you're fully pinned deep in your own territory. Like, we're 99% going to go for it, Barney, on 3rd and 1, but it's a gamble on 3rd and 2. Come on.
Not to change subjects here, but wouldn't it have been cool to be alive back in 79, 80 and see the repercussions when the NBA went to a 3-point line?
Right. Dude, absolutely, yes. Also, remember 2 years ago? Baseball implemented the pitch clock. You would have thought from the purists and the traditionalists that they changed the diamond into a circle. Like, it was unbelievable, the outcry and how dare you and this and that. And what's happened? It's made the game better. Remember when the designated hitter was added? The DH came into the mix? How dare you take the bat away from the pitcher?
More room behind the net in hockey, the 2-line pass, and so on. And when Boston had to get in a regulation size rink, so many different things. Okay, let's not get lost here. What's your take on the rouge, the new rule coming in there?
I like it because I've always thought it was crazy to reward failure. Like, if you miss a field goal and you blast it 20 yards wide left or 20 yards wide right, and it goes out of the back of the end zone, why are you being rewarded for it? I actually think now that the punt can be used as a strategic tool in the end zone to make sure somebody kneels. And all these people saying, well, now you've removed the field goal return. Somebody on Twitter had a real good post that less than 1% of snaps are returned for field goals. And it doesn't mean with the goalpost at the back of the end zone, you still can't send a returner back on a long attempt, because if it's short, it could be returned. So those are my thoughts there.
Commissioner couldn't answer my question yesterday. I don't know if it came out today. Is it still returner? I don't want to run out. I can punt it out of the end zone. He said he was going to have to check with his rules team because you've seen it. I call it punt-a-palooza, punt it out, then try and punt it back. Now we got 15 yards to try and land it to. Makes it a little bit tricky, but I want to know what the deal is there. Do you have to run it out? Can you punt it out?
I don't know.
I know.
I find out.
I love it. And I'm not just trying to be a shite disturber at all. I really want to know what's going on there. So let's look, Kate. And we talked about this earlier in the show. Americanization of the CFL. That's what we're doing here. NFL light. Yeah, people would call it what you want. Okay, what are the things that, let's say we're living in 2027 right now. We both look this youthful. We're looking fantastic. What are the things that are the same as the NFL? Length of the field, not including the end zones, right? That's one.
Well, end zones are still 15 yards, not 10.
I know, that's what I mean. The length of the field is 100. We're not including end zones. So that's the one thing that's the same as the NFL. Second thing would be the goalpost at the back.
Goalpost at the back, yeah.
Because the NFL figured that out in 1974, that they were moving theirs to the back. Okay, so those are two things that are the same as the for the NFL light or Canadian NFL? What are the Americanization? So I got two things. What else are we missing here? That is the same as the American. The ball's different. The waggle's different. Number of players, number of plays, length of
number
the
of downs,
number of downs, number of downs, width of the field, the ball, the play clock. There's two things that are the same as, and this is Americanization. I need to wrap my head around that. I need to figure this out more.
Well, it is a culture of fear that people have to change. It honestly is, Barney. I don't know what else to say. Like if Stu Johnson had come out yesterday and said, we're removing the ratio. If Stu Johnson comes out yesterday and says, we're moving to 4 downs. If Stu Johnson says, we're going to merge with an American league. If Stu Johnson's, like for a second there on Sunday, I'm like watching the Vikings-Bengals game. I'm like, is Cincinnati moving to the CFL? It's just people want to be up in arms for the sake of being up in arms. I don't like the 55-yard line going away. I like the 55-yard line. I thought that was uniquely Canadian. But if you're effectively giving away one unique item at the expense of the hope that this is going to generate more offense, more points, more attention, etc., shoot. Because doing the same thing wasn't going to move you forward. I think we all have to understand and realize that.
And so many people, I thought it amusing, interesting, that were going off the one question that Justin Dunk answered, which probably would have asked it myself. And he was clear on it. Can you say we'll never go to 4 downs? And he says, I'll never say never. Right away, everybody, whoo. And it's like, I don't think you ever, I don't put a lot of stuff in ink. I like putting stuff in pencil in my life. And if someone comes to the CFL and says, here's $200 billion, we want to buy you. Someone in Dubai. Because they got real money there. Check out the Live Tour. What do you say? No? Patriotic? Get the Canada flag out?
Like some of the arguments being made yesterday, like this is why I wanted to come on and make sure, like to me, and I think U Sports needs to do this. U Sports needs to just continue doing what they're doing. CJFL the same, et cetera, et cetera. You have minor football leagues all over the place, practice fields. There's no need to change what you're doing because of the infrastructure. But you just went through all the things that make the CFL unique, Barney. Right? Like if we're going to make a list of the 20 things that are really kind of special, different, organic about the CFL, missed field goal returns is probably like 20th or 21st or 22nd on the list. I know we've had 2 or 3 this year. But who's coming to a football game and saying, man, I can't wait to watch a missed field goal return today?
There's people banging their dashboards or their computers or whatever right now. Hey, we're just giving you some perspective, some context from different angles here. That's all we're doing. We love the game. Like, can we just all get that? Like, we love the CFL. We love the game. I counted 2 things in 2027 that are going to be the same. Am I missing a bunch? Please let me know.
So here's the other thing.
There's 2 things that are similar to probably Australian rules football as a CFL.
Here's some other things now. Okay, so touchbacks, unintended consequences. Touchbacks, right now they're going to come out to the 40-yard line. In a shortened field, they got to move that to the 35 or the 30. You can't give a team that great a field position. Yep. That's my opinion on that.
I like that.
The other is the command center needs an upgrade. Officials having their hand to their ear for 5 minutes on an offside call, that needs to change. Like, we are getting caught up in the stuff, to me, that is quite trivial and doesn't even come close to mattering as much as the issues that actually should. And the way the replay officials, the way the on-field game is managed, that's got to be among the next on-field priorities for Stuart Johnston.
And let's get stats done properly. Like, many high school leagues and junior leagues and senior hockey leagues can do. If they can do it, you can do it, CFL. We're behind you.
And your website. And look, I know that internally, like, look, here's the other thing. Let's remember where all this is coming from. Stuart Johnston was a television executive for nearly 30 years. His job was to get viewership as high as possible. He wanted to find ways, trends, things that are going to get people more interested in this league because it was good for business for him for the last quarter century. In a lot of ways, it's the same now. He's got to come in and clean up a ton, from the website to the socials to the stats to the officiating to the replay to the on-field. This was day one, step one after a 5-6 month run of this is my vision. This is what I'm presenting to the board of directors. Let's go.
Last thing on this, and then we'll move to some baseball. Do you think if there was a line, if we could sprinkle, you and I, what would the odds be that they walk anything back?
Between now and 27?
Between now and, next year even.
Minus 10,000. They're not walking it back.
Whoa.
You get unanimous board of governor approval. You're going to move forward with this stuff. What would make you walk it back?
Public pressure.
Violence. Violence in the streets. I can't remember a time in our lifetime, Barney, from a rule standpoint, more outcry than the implementation of the pitch clock in baseball. And by the end of the first month of the season, people were saying, "Where have you been all my life?"
And my stance in 5 years from now, we're going to look back on this, have a chuckle, and be like, yeah, I said yesterday, we lived through COVID. Right. If you live through that, you lived through something, and we adjusted. Then there was people on either sides there and all that. Okay, quickly to baseball here. Blue Jays. What do we need to touch on here? Excitement. Are AL East going to be theirs?
I think so. I don't see how any of this. Here's the thing about the American League. Nobody's any good. Okay, I shouldn't say nobody's any good. Every team has holes. Every team has deficiencies. Every team has issues. The Blue Jays have a cushion. The Blue Jays have Kevin Gausman going tonight. The Blue Jays are going to be fine. I think they win the division, etc. That's through 162. The issue, Barney, becomes in a best of five. The issue becomes, if you win the division, the best of five, suddenly how is this all going to be managed? What's going to happen if one of your starters blows up? Who's going to be available for you out of the bullpen? What happens if one of these under-the-radar offensive bats, or a few of them, don't produce for a couple of days? These become the questions in a best of five, but I think over the next week, they've got enough daylight and runway to clinch.
I just saw this too online. Speaking of new rules, there's another new rule for baseball coming?
Yes. Automated balls and strikes. You can challenge a ball up to 2 balls and strikes. The pitcher, the catcher, and the batter are the only ones who are going to be able to do that. Purists! I think yesterday in the Milwaukee-San Diego game, the umpire missed 25 balls and strikes. We now live in a world where technology, information, data, etc. is available. Let's use it a little bit.
All right. Arash, never change. All right, man, never.
I don't plan to, brother. I don't plan to.
Let's talk Thursday, bud. See you later.
Thanks, buddy.
Cool.